So what we came here to do tonight was we came here to share the night sky with the general public, and so what we were hoping to see was we were hoping to see the moon, and we were hoping to see a couple of bright planets, Saturn and Mars, and maybe some stars. But this particular area that we're working from is a little bit bright, and so we wouldn't be doing any deep sky objects, so mostly bright stuff. I'd say astronomy was probably a lifelong interest, just looking at the sky, that kind of thing. But I think when I really got into it was when my kids were starting to grow up, when they were starting to head toward elementary school and things like that. I got them a couple of telescopes and we started exploring the sky. And I've been going at it pretty steady since then. My kids are now adults, and so I've been doing this seriously a little over 10 years. So behind me here we have what we call a refractor telescope, and this is what you would consider the classic telescope. You know, when people hear of a telescope or envision a telescope, typically they envision a refractor, which has got the objective lens on the front end and the eyepiece on the back end. But you'll see a lot of these, if you look around the field here, you'll see a lot of shorter, fatter telescopes, and they're a reflected design. So there's different reflected designs, and these are called Schmidt-Cassegrain reflectors, where the light enters the tube and it bounces off a mirror, and then it bounces off a second mirror and goes back to the eyepiece. And so there's a few different reflected designs, but the only ones we have here tonight are Schmidt-Cassegrains. Well, astronomy dates back to antiquity, and I'm not sure, exactly what the uses were in antiquity. Navigation, people used the stars to navigate the seas and that kind of thing. But it goes back as far as the beginning of time. And one of the first things that people noticed about the sky was that the stars were always in the same place, but the planets were moving. And the word planets is actually a variation of the Greek word planetaris for wanderer. The best time of year to see the planets varies because the planets are all moving at different speeds around the sun. We're moving at, we move around the sun in 365 Earth days, but the inner planets move around the sun much faster than that, and the outer planets move much slower than that. So the best time to see them varies throughout the year or each year. Right now in the evening sky, Saturn's in a pretty good place, Mars is in a pretty good place, but as time goes on, they'll go back, they'll move toward the west and drop down with the sun in the late afternoon, and we won't see them anymore until next year. So a planet's apparition is dependent on its position around the sun and our position around the sun. Constellations are a year-round thing. We call the dome above us the celestial sphere, and the celestial sphere changes very predictably throughout the year as we rotate around the sun. So as the Earth rotates around the sun and we rotate on our axis, we see different parts of that celestial sphere. Right now, in the evening, right above us is a thing that we call the summer triangle, which is made up of three constellations. One is Cygnus, one is Lyra, and one is Aquila. And the bright stars in those constellations we call the summer triangle. Those constellations will start to move west now and start setting before dark. And coming up in the east, we'll see Pegasus and Perseus, and we'll start to see Orion and Cassiopeia and things like that. And that happens at the same time every year. So once you learn the constellations and when they come up, you'll know what to look for. I think probably my favorite planet is Saturn, a lot of people's favorite. It's exciting, it's bright, it's vivid, it's amazing looking in a telescope. Most people, when they see it in a telescope for the first time, think it's fake. It looks so much like the pictures that you see. So Saturn is a great planet. I enjoy all the planets. I've studied all of them except, I've seen all of them in a telescope except Pluto. So I've seen Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus. And I like them all, but Saturn's probably the most exciting to share. So we're the South Shore Astronomical Society. You can go to our website, you can go to our Facebook page, you can learn how to join us there, how to come to one of our meetings and see what we're all about. And as far as these events are concerned, we have an events page on our website, www.ssas.org. And as far as this particular event is concerned, the library is going to list the future outreach events.